Welcome back to the garage. Today's job, we did the rear end of the 1 Series, put the Bilstein B8 suspension system on the back, which is the shock absorbers and the springs. Now we're going to do the front. These are beautiful. These are absolutely beautiful. This should really improve the handling of the car, stiffening it up nicely. You get everything you need in the box. If your bump stops on the old one are a bit tatty and tired, doesn't matter. This comes complete. The whole thing is all sorted, it's all there. So we're literally going to bang those straight in and get them on the car. These have got a really fat head on them. Look at that beauty. Compared to the standard ones, makes such a difference. Let's fit into the car, get them on there. We've got the Sealy low entry trolley jack, axle stand, and obviously the Milwaukee nut gun there to pop these wheels off. Makes life so much easier. This kit should be fantastic once we've got it on there. Really can't wait. You can see the old shock absorbers here. They've been leaking. They're a bit damp. The dirt's stuck to the oil that's come out. First thing we've got to do though is get this under tray off. So we'll just whiz out all these little 8mm bolts. Now there's a fair few in there, but we'll just quickly twaz through all of these. A few at the front, 2 at the side, a couple in the middle. And then that whole thing will slide backwards. Drop off, there we go. Keeps everything nice and clean though. There's a jacking point there on the centre of that subframe, which we can pop that axle stand in. What we've got here is the ABS sensor wire. We want to just pull that out of its little mounting, turn the steering to the side, and then we can whip out this pinch bolt here that is clamping that strut to the hub at the bottom. We'll swizz that back, give us a bit more room. I've got the little Sealy spreader tool which we pop into the little clamp there, pop it between the gap and turn it, and it just opens it up and makes that leg a lot easier to get out. Cracking bit of kit. Links in the description as always. That takes us up to the anti-roll bar link, which we've got to put a spanner at the back there, which is a 17 spanner just to hold the ball joint, stop it from spinning, and then we can take the front nut off and draw that out there. So I've just undone this bolt here, pulled it through. I don't think the camera got it. So I'll do is I'll put from, this is the other side, just to show you what I've just done on that side. It's just a big old bolt. We draw it out and we get the bar in there and just push that bottom arm out. Gives us all the room we need to free this off. Gives us a bit of play there to move it about. This leg will now drop. You can use a copper hammer there just to tap it down, but I do like my little ram I've got here. Makes light work of separating these legs from the hubs and saves taking everything off to get the whole leg out and doing it on a bench. It does make light work of it. And there we're pretty much out. We've just got the 3 bolts on the top there, and we'll just pop those out. We've got my Milwaukee ratchet there, which makes again light work of that. We'll take them all out, barring one. We'll just leave it slightly loose, the one we can get at nice and easy. Grab hold of that and then just take it out the rest of the way, and the whole leg then comes away from the car. Just undo it that last fraction, and down she comes. We'll drop that into the vise, and we can strip that down. We need to reuse this top mounting. So we just need to make sure that it's free, loosey-goosey, which this is. No play, no nonsense going on there. That's fine to go back on again. We'll pop the centre cap out. Need to get the spring compressor on here so that it doesn't twang off when we take the top off. So 2 compressors, 1 either side, and we'll just compress that spring down, take all the tension out of it, and then we can take that centre bolt out there, releasing the top mounting off of the top of the shock absorber there. So we'll just wang that down, get that spring nicely compressed. Again with the Milwaukee nut gun, makes light work of it. Socket on the top, and then we can just twaz that out. Just checking that we have got no tension there, or very little tension in it when we take it off. There might be just a tiny bit, but we're not worried about that. Off it comes. Bango. So that's the way. We've now got the mounting there that can come off the top, the bearings off the top, and we can just release our spring compressors. I'm going to need this rubber boot at the bottom. Yeah, that rubber needs to come off. We'll have to reuse that. That will stop everything squeaking and stop the spring moving about.
Right. And that's scrap. You can see how bad that is, look. It's got nothing in it at all.
I put a bit of towel over my vise so I don't scratch this new body up. We don't want to damage it, and also I can only do that up really gently. I don't want to crush it, otherwise it will ruin it. They are quite tough, but yeah, we've just got to be really careful. We'll take the new nut off the top, we'll put that rubber back on the bottom there so we can sit the spring in it. We'll drop the new spring on, locate it into its position, give that a clean, get rid of all the grit and crap out of it. That little marker there sits onto the top of the spring, so it all fits. It'll only go one way, this.
You can almost see it through the top already. We haven't got to squash this one down a great deal to get it on.
So back to the spring compressors again. We can lock one on either side of the new spring and then pull it down. Being careful not to scratch the paint off the new springs as well. We don't want to expose any of the metal.
Yeah, I've been right through now. I can see the top of that. I've got a new nut to go on there as well.
Now this new nut is bigger than the old nut, and there's not a lot of room there to play with when you get a socket through it. That's a 21mm nut.
That's tight, that is. That's really tight.
So I need to find a skinny socket to go in there.
Oh, we've got a socket there, luckily. And compress that down. That's home, all the way. And kind of a little cap back on the top. Just make sure everything's lined up where it needs to be. Yeah, perfect. And then we can take these compressors off. One. Two. Oh, there we have it. Look at that beauty. Let's get that back on the car.
So I'll offer that back up again, getting it through the 3 holes. There is a little locator hole for the camber. I'll show you that a bit more closely in a minute. We need to make sure we get that the right way around. We'll get a bolt in there to hold it up, then we can let go.
Adjustable rebound.
So we can try and get this back in again, make sure that the hole's nice and clean and the wires are going the right way round the strut there as we feed that back up. It's gone on nice and easy. Look, we've got plenty of slack there because I've got that spacer still in the back. We'll just line up that bottom arm as well. We can refit the anti-roll bar, only loosely at the minute. We're not going to wag that all the way up just yet. We've got the pinch bolt to go through as well, so we can just slide that in. We'll get the spacer out because that was just holding that bolt off. That's through. There is 2 locating marks at the back of the strut that have to go down between the gap. We can whiz these 3 bolts up on the top.
When you're putting these in, there's a little round circle hole through there that goes into that top mounting. That's where you can put a screwdriver in and adjust your camber. So you've got to make sure you get that lined up when you put it back.
And that is the little camber mark. So as I slide that, I want to get those bolts exactly the same place as what they came off. You can see the dusty marks on the paintwork, so I know I've got them in exactly the same place as what they were when I removed them. Just nip them up nicely. Now we can get this bottom arm back in again, back into the subframe. Just tap it gently and away she goes. Eventually we get it back in there. It's quite a tight fit, that one. Then we can get that bolt through, and again that's quite tight against the rubber boot on the steering rack, but it does go in. We need to just take the weight of the car off the jacks and put it onto this axle stand on the jacking point there on the subframe, so I can use my jack underneath that hub just to lift it to push that strut through, and also just take the stress off of this mounting on the bottom arm when I do the bolt right up, because I don't want it to be under any tension when it's in its sitting position. That there, you see, is right up to the marker there, and the two little noggins behind have gone in to the leg. We can now do the pinch bolt up, and also this bottom arm bolt now, because it's under load, we've got the jack under it still, it's okay to do that up. That's in its resting position. I'll just come in from the back there and just make sure that's nice and tight. Bingo. We can pop the little dust cover back down again, just to stop any water getting in there, and then lower the jack. Pop it back under the sill. We can now just put up this anti-roll bar drop link there. We can whack that up nice and tight.
3 bolts on the top done up, anti-roll bar link done up, pinch bolt done up, we're home there, suspension done up.
Somebody's happy. Where's Wally? So this takes us onto the other side. We're going to go through this one real quick. Just zip through it. It's exactly the same as what we've just done on the other side, but obviously in reverse because it's you know, opposite side. But just whiz these out. Spacer, bottom bolt on the bottom arm. Pop that out. Release that. Give us a bit of play there. Get this leg down. Using the ram again. Pop it out. If only I could do it this quick. It'd be amazing. I'd make a fortune. Legs out.
Oh, look at the state of this one. The bump stop is completely disintegrated in there. It's not leaking, but the bump stop is absolutely shredded.
So clamping in the vise, top off, dust cap, get the spring compressor on there again, clamp that down, pop the top off it. Now this one was turning, so I've just had to clamp it. You wouldn't do that on a new one because it'd ruin it. But because this is an old scrap unit, it didn't matter.
It's got a little more in it, this one. You can see how damp it is around there, so this is starting to leak as well.
We can grab the new one now, get that back in the vise and his towel so it's nice and good. I'm not going to scratch it up. New spring in there, top mounting, clamp it down again, enough to get the bearing through the top.
What you can do is just pack the centre of these bearings on the top mounts with a bit of grease if they're looking a little bit dry. So just got a bit of LM grease there. I'll just take a smidgen of that and we can pop that down there inside the bearing.
I've just worked that in.
Just work that into the bearing there, all the way around. Lovely. And then we can pop that back on the top.
Much like we did the other one, get that bolt in, wag it down, spring compressors off, and it's all lined up, located and ready to go back on the car.
Another one done.
So we can drop that one back into the car exactly the same as we did with the other side. I have got another video on an E82 where I replaced the springs and the shock absorbers with standard shock absorbers, but with the Eibach lowering kit, and I've really gone into a lot of detail on that one, on the fitment and the markings and everything, so it might be worth checking that out if you've not done one of these before. I'll put a link in the description for that video as well. But we'll just get that bottom bolt through there, tap that in. Don't they look lovely, that yellow and blue really stand out, look absolutely brilliant. We'll just finish it off, anti-roll bar, drop link there, tighten that up, there it is in all its glory. I've got this pack of trim clips here. If you've got any broken clips, these are great for holding up these trays and stuff. We can just whiz all those 8mm bolts back in again, and that ratchet makes light work of these. It is amazing. Wheels back on again. And then drop the jacks out. Lovely. Right, let's go and take it for a spin. Moment of truth. See what it feels like. I'm really excited for this one. I mean, it's gonna feel completely different because, you know, the car's done 98,000 miles. It's on the original shock absorbers and springs. The shockers had it. So it's going to feel like we've actually got something stopping the wheels from bouncing round. If you like that front splitter that's on there, I think it looks absolutely delightful. That's the carbon effect. I've just got a video uploaded for that one, how to fit it and where we got it from. So check that one out. I really think the ride height on this is just right now. It's good over speed humps. It's not too low. It doesn't look crazy.
Instantly. Oh, yeah, beauty. They're stiff. They are stiff. You're going to be bouncing around down there. Hopefully the phone will stay right. It's on a It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Yeah, I mean, it feels. Yeah, she's sweet. Sweet as a nut. It's not rock hard. It's firm, but it's not rock hard, which is the same as the 3 Series. You know, I love the ride of the 3 Series with the Eibach springs on it. I've not got the B8 kit on that though, so this is the first time I've put the B8 kit on anything with the Bilstein shock absorbers, the uprated springs and the uprated shockers. So, oh, it's beautiful. It's a nice ride. So we haven't wrecked the car by making it rock hard and undrivable. It still feels nice. It still feels like a BMW. The steering wheel is still smack bang in the middle, so it doesn't look like we've upset any of the tracking. We've put it all back exactly how it was. We might have just a tiny difference on ride height, but again, I don't think there's going to be a lot in it because the old springs would have been they'd have sagged a little bit over time. So we shouldn't be having too many issues with that. We've got the camber back in the same place as it was. They were exactly lined up the same where the dust holes were on the bolts, so we know we've got that right. Whereas before this was all slappy and sloppy, it just feels nice and set. The car feels set now. Let's just give this a little bit round the roundabout just to see how it fares on the corner. Just not going to be crazy, man. We're on the public roads and all that, so oops, Daisy. What was I saying? It's cornering well. It feels absolutely beautiful. It's driving lovely. What a difference. Transformation. I'm well pleased with how the car looks. It's sitting lovely. Just that little bit lower stance. Really improved the handling and the ride of the car. Them old shock absorbers were absolutely had it. 98,000 miles. It's like a new car again. I'll pop all the links for the parts and the tools and everything that we've used in the description below, so have a quick peek down there. Really pleased with the outcome of that. If you've enjoyed the video, drop me a little thumbs up, like and subscribe.